What's going on, team? It's your boy G. We back at it again with another episode of the G Files, man. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Eternals, bro. We've been waiting for this movie for a cool minute, but I'm finally excited to get into this thing. But before we do, I need you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Any bit of support is greatly appreciated. You could be watching anything on YouTube right now, but decided to check this video out. So I appreciate y'all. Without further ado, let's jump into the vid. All right, Eternals, man. So going into this, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I saw some things on Twitter, bro, that didn't have me super confident, bro, honestly, because for Eternals to drop like with no like real prior knowledge as far as like, you know, any shows or movies that came out back in the day, only really like Eternals being touched in the comics, I didn't really know what we were going to see. I didn't know what we were going in for. Like, I was kind of like going in blind, but just way more than usual. Right? And I'm gonna be real, bro. I still don't really know like what I really watched, bro, because for me, it wasn't a Marvel movie, honestly. And when I say that, it's those key characteristics that, you know, Marvel has to make it feel not only just different, but also build around just the overall universe. I didn't get that sensation while watching this movie. I think the opening sequence was pretty good as far as establishing like who these characters are, because this is a lot of characters, bro. This is 10 new characters that we're getting introduced to. But as far as like what they really turned out to be by the end of the movie, bro, not a lot changed. I think some characters was more fleshed out than others, and I think some characters had way better performances than others as far as like the actors, you know, because for me, for the most part of this movie, it felt like a lot of highs and lows. Like it just kept on fluctuating between like, yo, I really like what's going on here, to be like, man, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. Now what my hope is that like maybe in the future, like this movie will end up growing on me. But at the end of the day, as of where we are right now in just the overall universe, I can't really see, not necessarily like how they're going to connect the Eternal story to the rest of what's going on, but I don't know how they're going to really get that Marvel feel based on like, you know, how not only just the plot, but just some of the comedy and like special moments that was supposed to hit that just didn't do it. So for me, I think that this movie had a lot of potential, but I think the scope of what it was supposed to actually accomplish was a little bit too big for the amount of runtime that it had. And it was like 2.5 hours, bro. It wasn't like no short movie, you know? It's just for the task that they had upon them to not only establish, you know, 10 new characters and give them fully kitted, flushed backgrounds to make us actually care about who we're, you know, watching, while also establishing lore about the Celestial and what their purpose is, giving us a little insight to what, you know, cosmic power can do and just the potential of what's possible. It was a lot, bro. It was a lot. Now I know I hit y'all with a lot of like what could have been and what I think should have been, but they did do some things pretty well. Like I said, it was highs and lows, highs and lows. It just like the lows was really low. You know what I'm saying? Like there were definitely funny parts, especially to me. I don't know, I just like puns. I think obviously, you know, the movie was gorgeous, like the cinematography and everything that we saw, like from the fighting choreography to the way that they shot like all of the battles, and just, you know, made everything look super crispy, bro. Like even though for me Icarus was like my least favorite character in this whole movie, his flying, bro, was so different than anything else I've seen. Like I don't know what they did to make him look that saucy when he was moving, but I was just like, yo, this is different right here. I think my favorite character out of all of them in this movie, as far as just like, you know, powers wise, is McCary, just because like she's a speedster. But like I said, where this movie really falls short is with the depth, bro. The depth of just the characters and what the actual like purpose of this movie was. Like I felt a lot of times like I just didn't know what I was really watching. It's just a lot going on, bro, and I just didn't really come out the movie feeling like confident in what I saw. Like I felt like I came out the movie asking way more questions, and maybe that's a good thing, you know. Like I said, this could be the start of something dope, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Now it's like, far as the plot, like I feel like it did have some good parts of it. I think the reveals was dope from what was going on in the actual scene, but I feel like a lot of times, just because of the amount of characters that there was, and like, and I'm not even talking about just like the Eternals themselves, but like just the deviants and all the things that was kind of used as plot points that could have been a little bit more. For me though, I think my biggest takeaway from this movie was just what we learned about the Celestials, bro. One thing that I like about where Marvel is going right now is that we're expanding outside of Earth. Like, a lot of the projects coming up won't be taking place directly on Earth. And now I know Eternals is, you know, a Earth-based movie right now, but from where we're going, it's like, yo, like, I want to see what's really out there in the cosmos, bro, and like understand just how everything works, and just to see Ashram and the early stages of the movie, actually getting to see him, and then also seeing like just the power that he wields, and the potential, and just the whole overall like matrix of what the Celestials do. I'm super interested. Now let's talk about some more things that I actually liked about the movie. I think they did a good job with, like, you know, the powers of everybody. I think it looked great, from Makari being an amazing speedster to Athena being able to just go crazy with all her weapons, from Gilgamesh just being super freaking strong, even Kingo, who was like a gunslinger but used like cosmic energy, bro. I felt like I was watching a D&D campaign with all the character builds that they have for the Eternals, man. And I also can appreciate just like how inclusive this movie was. I think there was a pretty good balance in the way that they molded it into the story. It really didn't feel like an agenda was like being forced upon you. So I can definitely appreciate like the care that they took in creating a very inclusive group. And everybody got the flex, man, for sure. And before I get out of here, man, I know I've said a lot of things that I feel like they could have done better, and just posed a lot of questions and things like that. But, you know, I also have some solutions, or like, you know, some of my thoughts that I think would have made the story and the movie a little bit better, and that is the way that they used flashbacks, man, because I think they did a good job with molding the story to like all the mythology that, you know, we know just from growing up with history and stuff like that. And I think it is a cool nuanced take to like actually show and make us believe that, you know, they've been here the whole time. But I do not like how the only real Marvel references in this movie is through speech. Like, there's no physical moments that we saw the Eternals even being present, or even just acknowledging that it's happened. Now, I understand that their job was like not to interfere and let humans evolve naturally. I would have loved to see moments where we could at least saw them, right? And there was specific times a lot of these characters could have been involved, because I think it would have made like the decisions they had to make in this movie weigh a lot heavier, because they all would have felt the guilt of just like all the things that happened throughout history. So I think that if they had applied some actual like timestamps of Marvel events as phenomena that happened, like literally we lost half the population, all you're gonna do is talk about it. I just felt like, you know, we should have saw at least some type of cameos, or implying or applying some type of reference to, you know, what we've seen before, to make it really feel like we're in the same universe. Because like I said, this doesn't really feel like a Marvel movie. It just references Marvel, and we're just supposed to accept it. So if they had added some of that stuff in there, I think it would have been a little bit better received, and would have been easier to mold into the overall universe in future movies. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got, man. This was probably like one of my hardest movies to rate, right? Because usually the first thing I look to is if I enjoyed the movie, right? That's the first thing, and I definitely did. But then once you start thinking about like what actually happened, and, you know, all the things that initial like reaction and moment that you're in the movie that you don't really think about until later on, and you're like, man, like I don't know if this warrants like, you know, being a higher score. I definitely think this is on the lower side of Marvel movies and MCU movies as far as rankings, but I don't think it was terrible in comparison to every other movie that has not only dropped this year, but just in general. Cinematically, this movie still hit and it still go crazy, but there was definitely some missed opportunities, and it was a very ambitious project. So I'm giving it an 88 out of 100 G-File score. I know that's still probably too high, but I'm still looking at the potential of like what the little nuanced things that we don't necessarily know about, you know, the Easter eggs or whatever that we saw in here, that this will lead to something even greater. So that's what I'm giving right now. This is probably like the most like inconfident I've been in a score so far. Maybe I need to watch it again, I don't know, but you know, that's where I'm at with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all be easy on the vibes. Always keep growing, see going. It's been your boy G. I'm gone. Peace.